Jason Brown from Dynamic Discs and Disc Connection, and today we're going to look at what's on board. JB here, just going to go through my cart. So what is on board my cart? I'm using a DD Zuka Transit cart this year. I've been using it for about half a season previous to this. It's great, you can carry everything you need, and particularly when you're traveling away, it fits in a suitcase, and you can bring all of the things you might need out in the course when there's bad weather and things like that. You're not sure how it's going to play out. This is really good for carrying all the things that you need. It's got a seat. It also has an umbrella attachment, which I don't have out here today, but usually it's along there on those wet and rainy days for me as well, to help keep the bag dry. Let's have a look at my bag. We're going to start with my putters. So as everybody would know surely by now, I am carrying the Westside Shield BT Hard. It's been my putter of choice for many years now and continues to be. Along with that, for longer outside the circle 2 putts, and also for shots which I need to shape a little bit more and hold a line, I'm using the EMAC Judge as well. So they're my 2 putters of choice. Along with that, I always carry my trusty Mega Soft Shield. Here he is, great for really steep locations where you really can't afford things to roll away. A little bit more confidence on those death putts and things like that as well. So Mega Soft Shield is an absolute must in my bag as well. Now, shield number 3 is my one of my approach putters. That's a tournament shield, my trusty donut that many people have seen out in the course many times before. Glides a little bit more, just holds into the wind a little bit better than something like a Judge, like an EMAC Judge or something like that. This has been around with me for many a year now and is still super trusty. I have this past season put in a Lucid X culprit into my bag, so I can sidearm this on approaches or nice hyzer approaches. It will hold that hyzer into the wind and is a really sort of handy disc that I've been using. A little bit shallower than a harp, and that means that I can sidearm these a little bit more comfortably. So that's been a great disc. That's the Chris Clemens one there. Johnny McRae Opto X Fuse. So for those turnover shots, it's a great glidey, controllable disc. You can throw it straight to turnovers, and I'm finding this a joy to use as well. So the Fuse is a really great one. I carry 2 Truths, one EMAC Truth and one Pre-Mac Truth. The EMAC Truth goes a little bit straighter, holds a bit more of a straight line. The Pre-Mac Truth turns slowly to the right as I'm throwing the backhand, and you can get some pretty decent distance out of those. My absolute must-have in the bag, Justice. Fantastic for forehand rollers. I'm using those all the time on rollers because it has such a nice rim to be able to control the throw on. I am starting to use this one more and more on approaches as well. I'm starting to be able to learn how to control these and get a really nice controllable flight out of those. Everybody needs a Justice in their bag. So that's my mid-ranges. Move up to the 7 speeds and an 8 speed. I carry Lucid Maverick, prototype Lucid Maverick. That is a slow turnover, a little bit longer than my Truths. And then Zach Melton, Lucid X Maverick. So not quite the same level of turnover as the Lucid Maverick, but still just a slight turnover and then maybe a very gentle fade at the end. If you really power up on them, they'll stay turned over. Great disc. Prototype, or not proto ring at least, Evader. Really nice controllable hyzer approach shots. I find these to be super, super reliable, even into a bit of wind. So I'm really digging the Evader, and going up one speed from that to the Vandal. I think this might be a 9-speed even. Slow turnover with a little bit of fade back at the end, or again, if you really jam on these or put them on a little bit more of a hyzer line, they will turn over and stay turned over. Hyzer flip as well with the Vandal. Enjoy that one. Further along on the 9-speed trail. Hatchet. Turn right machine, backhand turnovers, also get out of trouble sidearm turnovers as well with a little bit more glide. So this is a super glidey disc that I can sort of use as a get out of trouble disc when I'm restricted in my my movement. Perhaps I can get a little bit more distance out of these, but otherwise it's a great little right hand turner and holder. Next on my list, Supreme Escape. Much more overstable than I thought it was going to be, much more overstable than the old Escapes. Turnover, distance, and reliable fade back at the same time. I've been impressed with this disc. I've had some other people throw it. I've been really impressed with it as well. Looking to see what this does across the course of the season a little bit more. I haven't had a lot of a chance to play with it so far, but I will certainly continue to keep throwing the Escape. And then in my bag I have 3 Felons. I have a Fusion Felon, which is not as overstable as the other two, reasonably sort of manageable sort of overstability. I have a Fusion X Felon, one of the old Eric Oakley Fusion X Felons. These have a little bit more overstability to them, and then I go up to the Lucid Glimmer, Lucid X Glimmer Felon. Again, it was an Eric Oakley one. He called them longer justices, and that's pretty much what they are. Super duper utility, just turns left out of the turn of the hat. So that's just in there, just in case, as a bit of a utility. Moving up to more of my distance drivers, I have a Sergeant, Fusion Sergeant. These are straight to overstable, good for controllable sidearms. And I quite enjoy using them on those nice straight sort of sidearms. I don't use them a lot for backhands. Then I go up to my swords. So I'm actually carrying 4 swords this year. I have 3 Orbit swords in slightly different colors. They are all different levels of stability as well. So going from understable through to straight to slightly overstable. I found these Orbit swords are super domey, really easy to throw, really comfortable to throw, nice glide, nice control. So I'm really enjoying using those. And then stepping up from that in terms of the stability, I have a Tournament Ice sword. So these are quite a lot more overstable compared to the other swords. And again, nice and domey. You can get some reasonably good distance on these. I did do a video a little while ago comparing those different swords. This one went the furthest and still had a great deal of controllable overstability with it as well. So the Tournament Ice swords are really, really good to use at the same time. So I've got one of those in the bag. Then I'm going up to the Rive. So this Rive has been in my bag since the Rives came out. This has now got a little bit of turn to it on sidearms, and I've put a pretty new Royal Rive in my bag as well, because this one has got a little bit more overstability. If I have to go to really, really windy conditions, or my most overstable disc in my bag at the moment, that's the Linus Carlson Orbit Rive. So I'm really only using these for absolute hyzers and just ridiculous winds and those sorts of things. Again, very rarely do I throw these backhand. I'm more throwing these sidearm more than anything else, but I find them a really nice controllable disc to throw. Last 2 discs in my bag. This one has been in my bag probably the longest just about of all of my discs. This is a Scandinavian Open Frostline, Snowline Ballista. Turns right, still has a bit of capacity to go back to the left at the end. Goes a mile. Again, it's still super, super reliable in my bag. I've had it such a long time, but I love it and I still use it. The last disc in my bag, again, just an all-out sort of turnover, distance type disc is a West Side Tournament Burst Destiny. And again, I'm just ripping this one out of the bag when I really need distance, and I don't have to worry too much about accuracy. And that's a really long flying disc. Right, in addition to that, what else do I carry on my bag? I usually carry, particularly in the WA summer conditions, I can carry 2 water bottles with me, which is really useful. And again, I don't have to carry them. They're sitting on board with me, so that's great. In my front pocket here, I carry my chalk bag, Repel sunscreen, greatest sunscreen around, fly spray or fly repellent plus sunscreen, 50 plus sunscreen. It is the best insect repellent you can get, and I tell everybody about it whenever I talk to people. This stuff is fantastic. So anybody in Australia, might find it a bit difficult to get it overseas, but anybody in Australia, Cancer Council usually can get it online from their stores. You don't see it in the shops, you don't see it in the supermarkets very much. This stuff is fantastic. Carry a towel with me. I've got my mini, my little West Side coin here. This will sometimes either be sitting in the front of my bag or in the front of my putter pouch there. On occasions, it's probably sitting in my pocket as well. Now, the great thing about the transit cart is that I have got plenty of room underneath to pack any extra bits and pieces that I need. So in this one, extra towel and my wet weather gear. So there's my wet weather jacket. So there's only a couple of things in that one at the moment. And I can fill up plenty of stuff with that one as well. And in the second of these pouches, I have got my Boost tablets with my electrolytes in them, Panadol. Every Masters athlete needs Panadol, wallet, keys, so I can get home. Cliff Bar, the white chocolate macadamia is my Cliff Bar of choice. Got a couple of those sitting in there at the moment. Bit of hand sanitizer, which always goes down reasonably well in these days of COVID times. Couple more of the towels in here as well, so I can fit heaps and heaps of stuff in here, and I don't have to carry it around. And I can fit heaps and heaps of discs. I like using lots of discs. I like having small increments to what I do. I'm more of the give me the right tool for the job rather than make a tool work for the job I want it to do. So I love having a heap of selection, and my transit cart gives me the option to do that. So that is my bag for 2023. If you have any questions or you want to know anything more about any of the discs that I use, please just leave me a little comment, and I'll do my best to answer those for you. Hope to see all you out on the course somewhere across Australia or the world this year. I'm hoping to head to Japan at some point in time. The transit cart won't be coming with me. I'll be taking my Combat Ranger with me to Japan. But if you see me around Australia, the chances are you will see me out here with the transit cart and with those discs in my bag. Anytime you want to have a look at, try, test out any of the discs that I'm using, give me a shout. Thanks guys, see you out in the course.